We are very grateful to Digicel for selecting us as the partners for this particular project. It has been a very interesting one. It's been a very pleasurable one. And you know, our hope is that we'll continue to do this into the future and be able to deploy more systems and give you a high quality system that the people of Antigua and Barbuda can be proud of. What I'm going to do now is just show you. What you're seeing is a demonstration of a couple key areas that we have. So if you look to the monitor to my immediate right, you will notice that we have cameras covering Heritage Keep here. We have a pan, tilt, and zoom here, which I will move in a second. And then we have one covering where the ships come in. So that gives you a complete coverage. And I'm going to go ahead and maximize this now so that I can show you the zoom capability of this particular camera. So on a normal system, this camera will be set up to strategically patrol any area of interest that has been defined by the parties responsible for where these cameras are going to be put, national security and the police department. Now, for example, if something were to happen and you needed for this camera to cover a particular area, you can see that we can move in a 360-degree fashion, and you can pretty much zoom into any particular area that you want. If we wanted to, for example, go out to this boat, we could start our zoom.
What's the quality of the facial recognition?
So the quality of the facial recognition is dependent on how far out you're going. These cameras have the ability to go up to 26x zoom, and you can literally recognize somebody's face from that far. We can go an additional 4x into digital zoom. Now that's also controlled by bandwidth and pixel rate. So just to give you an example of how far we are here, we could potentially recognize somebody working on this boat. And if I were to zoom back out, you'll see the effective distance that you were looking at.
When you gave 26x plus an additional 4, but can you convert that into yards, feet, miles?
Effectively, you can go up to about 100 meters with this camera and be able to recognize someone. So if I continue to move around, I'll give you a, you'll have a better view if I were to zoom in on this particular area here. So here we have the entry to the keep here, and we can zoom all the way up to the actual entry point that is coming in right now. And again, keep in mind that because, as Victor mentioned, in phase 2 we're going to be doing some additional work to the backbone. The quality of the images that you're going to see is going to significantly increase. We're currently running on about a quarter of where it would be once that infrastructure is deployed and in place. So effectively we could zoom in and see what's going on at the entry point. No, so we have two types of cameras deployed. We have fixed cameras and we have pan, tilt, and zoom cameras. There are some cameras that are going to be constantly focused on a particular area, and then you'll have the camera like this one that is demonstrated here, which will allow you to do a patrol. So not all cameras are PTZ because there are areas of interest that they want to be monitored all the time. The pan, tilt, and zoom will allow the operators the flexibility to move the cameras to a particular area of interest as they see fit.
How would these cameras work at night?
So So these cameras have built-in night vision capability where they automatically can be switched to a night vision IR sensor that allows you to have better recognition during the night and have low light sensitivity. So they are automatically going to be set up that once we have determined with the Minister of National Security how they want the system to work during the night, whether they want true color or they want it to switch to grayscale night vision, we can effectively and on the fly program these to do whatever is required.
Is the footage being recorded?
The footage is currently being recorded, and if you notice, one of the things that I did was I left it to record for this demonstration on motion. So if you notice, there are a few cameras that are saying live at certain times because effectively there's no movement going on. But as soon as it recognizes some type of movement, it switches over to recording. That sensitivity can be turned up to whatever we want it. So it can go from 0 all the way up to 100, which means that it's recording all the time. Or we can leave it to say, don't worry about motion, just record 100% of the time, 24/7. So we can always document what's going on.
So you save storage space?
Correct. As it exists right now, we're just doing this temporarily. But when we set up phase 2, all cameras will be recording 24 hours, unless otherwise defined. Currently we have, this is set up for 30 days, it will be set to 60 days, but then it will be archived for up to 6 months, 2 years, dependent on what the requirements will be.
Will we archive on island? Or
Archive on island. There will be additional storages in the database room to allow for the archival.
how is it powered, the cameras, in the event that we have power outage?
So right now the box were engineered to have a UPS system built inside of each one of the boxes that will allow the camera to run for up to 4 hours. So if in the event that we lost power to any one of the 10 sites as it exists right now and the additional 26 sites that are coming, we can provide power not only to the cameras but also the radios that are responsible for the transmission, so that there will be no loss of video provided that this location is powered as well. So for up to 4 hours they'll be able to run.
Is this video or do you have audio as well?
You have the capability for audio, but that is something that will be determined by the Minister of National Security and the Commissioner of Police as to whether or not they want to enable that feature.
Are you able to zoom in and we could recognize someone somewhere? Like the face, anyone who's just...
We can. If you want to maximize this camera here, are you zooming? All right. So let's pick these two individuals that are here right now. Let me just go ahead and zoom in. So effectively you'll be able to take a snapshot of that and recognize whomever it is that is walking. And again, with these cameras, especially the PTZs, for areas of interest, for example, and for High Street, I know that there's a few banks on that area. You can effectively set the camera to patrol and zoom in automatically if you want to cover the front entrance of that bank for whatever reason, or if there's another place of interest that you want to cover. These can be programmed to automatically do that. On top of that, the operators have the ability to override that automatic patrolling. So if there is something going on outside of the range of what we've set up, the operator has the ability to be able to take control of that camera and move it in whatever direction they want.
What is the delay on the feed, the video feed?
There's not much delay. I would say probably about 2 seconds, 1 second at most right now. But again, keep in mind that once the backbone is at full bandwidth, you will not have any delay at all. It will be real time. You could literally call that young lady, I think she had her phone out, and you would see her in real time answer that call.